Hello, pre-algebra class. Welcome to Mr. Chow time. Today we're going to be working on using the percent proportion. Very exciting stuff. So let's talk about the percent proportion. What is that? What are we doing here? Well, you know, proportion is a relationship between two ratios, right? Well, the percent proportion is basically a proportion that you can write to figure out the percent of something, or the part of something, or the whole of something. And so how this works is that on one side you have part over whole, and then on the other side you have percent over 100. So it's a relationship between the part of a quantity compared to the whole, part compared to whole, and the percent compared to 100. So that's the percent proportion. Let's take a look at how it works. For example, so I'm just going to write this up here. Part over whole equals percent over 100. Okay, 12 is what percent of 32? So we want to find out what percent, right? So the percent, this one right here, is X. We don't know that. Over 100. 12 is what percent of 32? Of 32 means that the 32 is the total. That's what this word of will often tell you. It tells you that this is going to be the total. And then 12 is on top. So remember with this, there's a few ways that you can do this, and everyone kind of does it a different way. Well, not everyone, because there's not that many different ways, but one of the common ways to do it is to cross multiply, right? And I suggest you do it this way because this way has the less possibility of error. So 12 times 100 is 1200, and 32 times X is 32. And so you divide both sides by 32, and then whatever 1200 divided by 32 is. Oops, wrong app. 1200 divided by 32 is not that. Here we go. 37.5 equals X. So 37.5. This is the number that we get, right? And this is over 100. So remember, anything over 100 is basically how you write something as a percent. So this is 37.5%. So for example, I'm just going to write 1 over 100 here. This is the same thing as 1%, which is the same thing as 0.01, right? There's two numbers after the decimal, which means there's two zeros. So anyway, these three are different forms of writing the same number. So if we have 37.5, we just equal that to 37.5%. And that is the percent. Okay. All right, your turn. 15 is what percent of 20? 15 is what percent? What percent? We don't know what that is. Of 20. 20 is on the bottom, 15 is at the top. So, as you may have figured out, there's more than one way to do this, right? So if we divide 15 by 20, 15 divided by 20 is 0.75 over 1, right? We just turned this into a unit rate, basically, 15 divided by 20. And that equals X over 100. So then you could multiply both sides by 100 to get the bottom. I'm sorry, you can multiply both the top and the bottom by 100 on the left side to make this 100, right? So we would multiply this by 100 over 100. And that would give us 75 over 100 equals X over 100. So this might be how you decide to do it. And this would be, so then X would equal 75. So this is 75%. Okay. Where's my eraser? Here we go. Your turn again. I'm going to do these a little bit faster now. What percent of 5 is 12? So that's 1200 equals 5x. 1200 divided by 5 is 240. So that's 240%. And one last one. 100 is what percent of 25? So, what is it? 10,000 equals 25x. Divide both sides by 25. 10,000 divided by 25 is 400. Oops. So 400%. Don't forget to write the percent. If you just write x equals 400, that's not the answer. It's asking what percent. So this is not the answer. This is the answer. Ding, ding, ding. Okay. Let's look at another example. So what if we want to know what number is 15.5% of 450? Well, now we're trying to find the part, right? Before we were trying to find the percent, but we know the percent in this one. So now we're just looking for the part. Well, we do this in much the same way. 100x, we cross multiply these, and then we cross multiply these, equals 15 point, oops, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to do that on the calculator. 15.5 times 450 is 69.75, and then divide that by 100. So x equals 69.75. So what number is 15.5% of 450? Well, 69.75. So basically the same thing, but we're just solving for a different part of the percent proportion. Okay, your turn. What number is 11.4% of 330? So 11.4 times 330 is 3762. There's not a decimal point there. Equals 100x. Divide both sides by 100 is 37. Now we have 37.62. 37.62. All right. Second year turn. Find 10.5% of 30. So 10.5 times 30. I should have known that. 315 equals 100x. Divide by 100. 3.15 equals x. Okay. Last, your turn for this example. What number is 63.4% of 12? So this is 12 times 63.4, which is, oops, that's not right at all. 760.8 equals 100x. So this is 7.608 equals x. Okay, let's look at our next example. Let's say we want to know the total of what number. So now it looks like this, right? We don't know the total? Well, 60 is the percent, and then 78 is the part. So same thing here. Nothing is different. We're going to cross multiply. 7,800 equals 60x. Divide both sides by 60. And x equals 7,800 divided by 60 is 130. And again, we're just talking about a number, so 130 is the answer. So the only time you need to write it any differently or write a label what it is when it's a percent. Okay, 3 your turns. 30% of what number is 63? That's 6,300 equals 30x. So x equals 210. I should double check myself, even though I know that that's right. No, maybe I'm wrong. Nope, I'm right. Second, your turn. 3,000 is 60% of what number? Well, that's going to be 3 and then 5 zeros equals 60x. So x equals 5. 5 and 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. 5 and 3 zeros. 5,000. 5,000. All right. You guys getting tired of this yet? 18% of what number is 126? One, 2, 6, 0, 0. Oops. 12600 divided by 18 is 700. Okay. Let's recap. If you're finding the percent, it'll say something like what percent. If you're finding the part, it'll say what number. And if you're finding the whole, it'll say of what number. Of. So this is the word you're looking for here. This is the word you're looking for here. And then this is just kind of the leftover case, right? This is the one that doesn't have either of those words. All right, so this is real life. Let's say that this table here shows the batting statistics for one season for Kira of the KAS Dragons. So if she had 639 at-bats, this is 639 times that she went to swing the baseball bat, what percent of her bats? This should say at-bats. So let's just come here, delete that B. Okay. What percent of her at-bats were singles? And this right here where it says your turn, ignore that. That's not supposed to be there. It's just a joke. Okay. If she had 639 at-bats, that's the total number of at-bats, right? What percent of her at-bats were singles? So singles was right here, 151. That's the part. And 639 is the whole, right? Because if she had a total of 639 times that she went at-bat, what percent? So 15100 or 15,100 equals 639x. Divide both by 639. 15,100 divided by 639 is 23.63. So on and so forth. But we're rounding to the nearest tenth. The tenth is 1 decimal point here. So we're going to round down because of the 3, right? So that's 23.6%. Not bad. Almost a quarter of the time, she hits a single. Way to go, Kira. I knew you could do it. Your turn. What percent of Kira's at-bats were home runs then? All right, welcome back. Home runs. She hit 12 in the season out of 639 total. What percent? So that's 1200 equals 639. X divided by 639. 1200 divided by 639 is 1.87. So we're going to round up because it's of the 7. So that's 0.9%. Pretty good. Basically 2 out of every 100 times that she goes up to bat, boom, hits it out of the park. Well done. Your turn again. Let's say the number of mutual funds that increased in value during the third quarter of a fiscal year was 15. So what is going on here? Well, a mutual fund is like when you give money to these people who run the mutual fund, and what they do is they invest it into things like stocks or bonds or maybe even gold, like commodities. And they are trying to increase the value of your money. And let's say that it did increase. The value increased in the third quarter. The third quarter are the months of September, that's 10, wait, what is it? No, it's 7, 8, 9. So 7 is actually July. July to September. Sorry, so July to September. That's the third quarter, right? Because each year is split into four segments, right? So this is the third segment of the fiscal year. The fiscal year just means when the year begins for the banks, and that's not always on January 1st. So if this is 60% of the total number of mutual funds offered, how many mutual funds were offered? Well, we're trying to find the total, right? The total, and we don't know. Wait, where do we know? The number that increased in value, yeah, was 15. We know the part. That makes sense. And then 60%, that's 60%, right? So cross multiply. I'm going to do it over here. 1500 equals 60x divided by 60. X equals 25. 25 mutual funds. So this question is asking how many mutual funds, right? So the answer is going to be 25 mutual funds. Boom. All right, y'all. Well, here's your must do. Get to it. Busy, busy. Goodbye.